2021, and this is Smith's Environmental Homes. So first is my procedural list, which is a Gantt chart. Gantt charts are very effective ways to show our steps, resources, and time because it allows for us to add as much detail as we need, and we're able to show the resources and time needed for each step all together so we don't have to get confused on which materials are for which step. So my procedure list is detailed enough for others to follow my steps because I have as much measurements as possible so they know how big everything should be and where it should be placed, and I underlined some important parts and bolded some of the requirements for my blueprints. So next is my work in progress, my ATOs, and my technical skills. So one ATL is my self-management / organization skills for planning short and long-term assignments and meeting deadlines. So I would give myself a 7 because I made a list of things I needed to complete, created a timeline of what I will be working on for each day, when I should be completed by, and I showed as much evidence as possible that I was working on this, as you can see. This ATL is important because we need to have good self-management and organization skills for later in life as well, so we can get everything done on time, and so I can do a little bit every day and not procrastinate and do the entire project the day before it's due and not be as stressed. One technical skill that I used was drawing blueprints. As you can see, I would give myself a 7 on it because my blueprints have all the required stuff like dimensions and everything is labeled, and I made certain that everything was to size and everything was straight and clean looking and not too much like a rough draft. This skill is important because you can use it for a lot of different of your classes, especially in design when you're drawing your ideas. You need to make certain that everything is in scale. Another technical skill that I worked on was creating a procedural list, which I would also give myself a 7 for. I had over 5 steps. I had 8 steps total actually. I had materials and tools used for each step, when each should be completed by, and I made certain that everything was detailed and clear with measurements so others can understand them. This is an extremely important skill because you would use this in all of your classes and beyond, not just when you're creating an actual list, because you need to make certain that your instructions are clear enough for others to understand. Now it's my final blueprints. Here's my final floor plan. I have each of my requirements, like my exterior walls, my interior walls for my bedroom and bathroom. I labeled everything, all the different rooms and different features that I have. I added sustainable features. Even though we didn't have any interior sustainable features, I included the ones that you can see from the top view. I added annotations for the sustainable features you're not able to see, like solar panels and the fact that it's 1 story. And I included doors and windows, like the raised parts are doors, black lines are windows. And I included all of my dimensions. Here is my final elevation. I have everything required. I have the detailed exterior finishing for the windows and the actual part of the house. I included the doors and the outline for my window that you can see from the front elevation. I included different sustainable features that you're able to see from here, like solar panels, rainwater collection system, and a garden. And I also included my dimensions for everything, including my windows and my doors. So I did make some changes. I actually made a lot of changes. One was for my sustainable features, because one part of the floor plans was adding sustainable features, but some I wasn't able to show. There wasn't really a way I could add solar panels or the fact that it is 1 story to my drawings. And originally I didn't actually have any sustainable features on my blueprints draft. You are able to see some of my sustainable features like a garden from the top view. So one idea I had was I could add these features and write a note saying the features I can't add, like solar panels. Or I could just include them on my elevation instead because you can see them from there. I decided to draw my sustainable features that are able to be seen from the top view, and I wrote on a sticky note the features that you're not able to see. Another change I had was about how I labeled everything. I realized that I needed to add dimensions and labels to both my blueprints for my floor plan and my elevation. And the pencil was too light originally. It was difficult to tell the difference easily between my dimensions and my labels, and it looked a lot like a rough draft with my pencil. One idea I had was I could use different color pens for the dimensions and labels, or I could have used a highlighter. I could also use a Sharpie or a pen to outline my blueprints and replace the pencil. In the end, I used blue pen for the dimensions and red pen for my labels, and outlined my final blueprints once I was done with the black pen. Thank you, and I hope you liked my presentation.